And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'll do if I'm elected Lord and Master of the Universe. I'll be now taking questions from the audience. You, sir. What do you say about the allegations of you being found with half a kilo of cocaine and several prostitutes in a hotel room? I will first say that these allegations are completely and unequivocally true. What? Fuck off. You're only judging me because you've never had the chance to do it. Next question. Nudes at 400. According to the stock market, nudes are currently trading at 1 million subs. So only a fool would sell at 400. What kind of music do you listen to? Absolutely anything, if I'm honest. Really depends on my mood. It goes anywhere from 90s pop to Bach and a whole bunch of soundtracks for movies and games. I don't really like the whole thing of people judging people based on their taste in music. How can you make a judgment on someone based on the sounds that they like to hear in their ears that you don't? Unless it's like Justin Bieber or One Direction or some shit like that. That's scientifically proven to kill brain cells. Seriously, it's an epidemic. Have you ever talked to anyone that listens to that shit? They're as thick as bottled shit. Favourite video game you've ever played? I have a few favourites really, for different reasons. Game I've put the most hours in would definitely be Skyrim. The replay value on that is something amazing thanks to PC mods. Games with the biggest emotional impact probably be like Final Fantasy X, Metal Gear Solid 3 or Red Dead Redemption. My favourite game at the moment is probably Final Fantasy 15, which is pretty good if you can ignore the storytelling being shit in places, but the rest of it's pretty decent. Do you like bananas? I don't like anything phallic shaped that's bigger than my own weapon of choice. What do you think of Resident Evil 7? Another gaming question. I'm not zero punctuation, lads, don't let the animation style fool you. But it's surprisingly good. It's about time Capcom realised that people play Resident Evil games for the horror and not for the action. It's just a pity it took them a few years to figure that one out. Why is your accent so godly? Well, that's a result of extremely low hanging balls and the ongoing struggle to pronounce TH as th rather than the. Ha! You thought you'd catch me by reading that out, didn't you? But I'll never stoop so low as to say nigger. What program do you use to edit your videos? A couple of people ask me this kind of question, so I'll do a quick run through of the whole process. As I go through the week, every now and again, something will annoy me. If it's something significant enough, I'll make a note of it on my phone. Then when I get a chance, I'll write a script. I used to just wing these recordings, but then the videos just kind of got messy, so I just started scripting the whole thing, so I can get my point across a bit better. So once I have the script written, I'll record it. I use a Tascam DR40 and a Rode NTG1 mic. Not the most ideal setup for voice recording, but I used to make short films with friends, so that's the gear I had on hand. You work with what you have. Then I'll cut it down and give it a quick edit in Audacity and export it. Then I'll drag that into Levelator, which is a software that kind of raises all the quiet spots in the audio so it's somewhat level. And once I'm done that, I'll start working on the frames. I use After Effects for this. I know Photoshop is better, but I already knew how to use After Effects quite well, and I've no clue how to use Photoshop, so I just go with what I know here. I render each still as a PNG file, only export one frame, and I'll keep doing this until the video is finished. I usually end up between 150 and 200 frames per video, depending on how long the video actually is. Then drag the whole lot into Adobe Premiere and slap it all together, adding some music, sound effects, and the outro. Give it an export, proof watch it a couple of times, give it a few tweaks and upload. All in all, it takes about 2 to 5 days, depending on how long the video is, how intensive it is, and how much free time I have. Best YouTubers who hit 200 subs on January 1st, roasts people, and his name Burnsy. I've no clue. Seriously though, check out Burnsy. He does YouTube roast videos where he'll roast different YouTubers and some funny shit, and he told me he'd roast me at some stage, so I'm looking forward to it. Top 5 YouTubers under 1k. I actually watch a lot of YouTubers under 1k subs, so I'll do kind of a top 10 in somewhat alphabetical order. Dioxys, Generic, Pengitis, Ryan Campbell Beans, Reziop, Surplus, YouTuber, Yoran Moron, and of course, Radioactive Dinosaur. When did you start creating videos and who inspired you along the way? I uploaded my first video on the 1st of September of 2016, and I was talking about YouTube demonetizing videos. It's unlisted now because it's just not relevant anymore. As for inspiration, I'm the kind of person who'd spend days on days playing video games, and once I'd stop, I'd feel like shit just because I wasted all my free time playing video games and not doing something more productive. Essentially, I was subconsciously feeling guilty for just lazing around and being a lazy cunt with all my free time. I always wanted to entertain people, be it cracking jokes or just making comedy skit videos with my mates, so that was always in me. And one day I was just on one of my typical rants about life to one of my mates, just on about how stupid something was. I can't exactly remember what it was, when I was told that I was a very opinionated person. I don't know why, but being told this kind of resonated with me. So I took a look into rant channels on YouTube and discovered that people like hearing people ranting about stupid shit in the world. So using my somewhat opinionated personality and my love for entertaining people and making something more tangible to show for my free time, the Sergeant Ducky channel was born. What's your thoughts on sex and porn or nudes at 1 mil? Also, what's your thought on shoutouts? I have a video on nudes and sex tapes and all that. I'll leave a link in the description for that. As for shoutouts, yeah, I'm all for them. YouTube is a really hard place to be discovered just because your content gets buried under so much other content that's uploaded daily. So when a bigger channel gives a smaller channel a shoutout, it's great. That small channel gets a nice boost and the bigger channel gets a bit of respect for looking out for the little guy. Besides, it costs nothing to give anybody a shoutout, especially if they really deserve it. That's why I love channels like Whiplash Snake's channel. He reviews small YouTube channels, giving them constructive criticism and giving them an overall score that encourages people to go and sub to the good ones. So much respect to him. So yeah, shoutouts are good, but in my opinion, they should be done a lot more often by bigger channels. Will you make gaming videos in the future? Maybe when I get a better mic for my PC. My headset is a HyperX Cloud 2, which is a great headset, but the mic sounds like I'm talking inside a tin can. Inside someone's arse. Being played through an old radio. So to answer that question, maybe, once I get a better headset. What's your inspiration behind the tail? Did you see a cooler duck with a tail and a cool leather jacket blowing other cool ducks and you wanted to be him? No. What are your dreams, desires and goals? To entertain people and to one day have enough money that I can daydream while filling my car at the petrol station. Why the name Sergeant Ducky? I actually get asked this quite often and there's no real magical depth behind the story by any means. It was just an old gamer tag I had on Xbox years ago. I remember picking it because at the time I thought the idea of a duck being a sergeant in an army and nobody drawing attention to it was hilarious. To me anyway. Feelings on the Metal Gear Solid games. Okay, another gaming question. I didn't want to have to do this, but now you've just forced my hand. The Metal Gear Solid series is like a blind male porn star doing facial cum shots. Yeah, it's very hit and miss, but when it does hit the mark, it's all the more impressive. Metal Gear Solid 1 reminds me of the first time I had a dirty roll around in the hay with your mother. It was good fun and she showed me things that other women haven't showed me before, and did it in a way that really gripped me. But like your mum, she hasn't really aged particularly well. But if you can look past that, you're in for a good night. Metal Gear Solid 2 would have been just as good if they didn't try piss off the audience by replacing the much beloved Solid Snake with a girly gymnastically gifted Raiden. It's like somebody promised you a stripper inside your cake for your birthday, but in a clever twist they replaced the stripper with a feminine man. Yeah, the cake is still good, but a good portion of this is bollocks, when it should have been the tits. Metal Gear Solid 3 is by far the strongest of the lot. It's like rescuing a lost puppy that happens to belong to a generous rich person that rewards you handsomely, all while all your girlfriend's attractive friends line up to give you head. Good. They hit the perfect balance of gameplay and interesting story, which will leave you wondering how they could possibly fuck this up. Metal Gear Solid 4 is not a good movie. I mean game. The best way I can describe Metal Gear Solid 4 is by bumping into a former fuck buddy and taking them back to your house for some genital wrestling. But once you get that saucy minx into bed, she won't shut the fuck up talking and refuses to get down to business. Metal Gear, I know we had some amazing times in the past, but you don't have to spend the entire night reminding me of that. We can have some amazing experiences right now, so let's do it. But no, Metal Gear will just keep talking and explaining things that don't need to be explained. Listen, Metal Gear, I didn't ask you to explain why a vagina self-lubricates, nor did I ask why Vamp is a vampire. And I swear to God, Metal Gear, if you say nanomachines one more time, I'm kicking you out of bed. Oh, but look, it's a completely different Snake. He's now an old man. Oh, this could be an interesting take on Snake. But why is he old? Nanomachine. Ah, for fuck. Metal Gear Solid 5 is how I think a girl feels when she's sucking someone off. I'm sure it's fun to see how many different ways this broad game can be sucked, and Metal Gear Solid 5 does have an exceptionally stunning weapon to suck on, but no matter what way you play with it, the end always leaves a bad taste in your mouth. This becomes more evident when Eli's story gets thrust in your face like someone with Parkinson's disease trying to fix your hair using only their cock. But the big twist ending here is the story's never finished. The last you see the little twerp as he steals her nuke-equipped mech and fucks off. Big boss, I'm not one to judge, but don't you think you should do something about the child that just fucked off with all your high-grade weaponry? I know they never finished the story because they ran out of money, but I can't help but think they might still have a few quid knocking about to finish it if they didn't try to replace the already able voice actor with an A-list celebrity for no good reason. Moral of the story, don't get into a relationship with Hideo Kojima. Sure, he fucks like no other, but he pants you at a dinner party and leave you wondering if he even loves you back.